You think you know what women's empowerment looks like? While modern wives argue about splitting household chores and demanding equal partnership, there's a group of women who've been quietly running the show for centuries. These aren't your typical feminists, yet their marriages might be more progressive than yours. 1. The independence illusion. Here's where most people get it completely wrong. Walk into any discussion about Amish women, and you'll hear the same tired narrative: oppressed, voiceless, powerless. But here's what actually happens behind those farmhouse doors. Amish women control the household economy. Not just cooking and cleaning, but the entire financial ecosystem of family life. They manage budgets that can exceed six figures, make purchasing decisions for everything from livestock to land, and often serve as the primary financial strategist for their families. Sarah, a former Amish woman from Lancaster County, shared something that shattered my assumptions. My mother made every major financial decision in our house. Dad earned the money, but Mom decided where every dollar went. She negotiated with suppliers, managed investments, and essentially ran a complex business operation. But here's the part that really challenges modern thinking. This isn't seen as women taking power. It's recognized as women naturally having it. The difference isn't in the power itself, but in how it's expressed and acknowledged. 2. The education contradiction. Most outsiders believe Amish education stops at 8th grade, especially for women. Marriage supposedly marks the end of learning, the beginning of domestic servitude. This misconception runs so deep that even documentaries get it wrong. The reality? Amish women become students of life in ways that would put most graduate programs to shame. After marriage, they dive into practical education that spans everything from advanced agricultural techniques to complex business management, from herbal medicine to community leadership. Rachel, who left the Amish community in her 30s, explained, "I learned more in my first 5 years of marriage than I ever did in school. I mastered accounting, learned veterinary skills, studied nutrition, and became an expert in resource management. My husband and I were constantly teaching each other new skills. This continuous learning isn't accidental, it's systematic. Married Amish women participate in informal networks where knowledge flows freely. They share innovations in farming, discuss new preservation techniques, and exchange insights about everything from sustainable living to child psychology." 3. The financial reality? Here's where modern assumptions completely fall apart. Most people picture Amish husbands controlling every penny while wives ask permission for grocery money. The actual financial dynamics would surprise most contemporary couples. In traditional Amish marriages, financial transparency isn't just expected, it's mandatory. Both spouses have complete access to all financial information. No hidden accounts, no secret purchases, no financial decisions made in isolation. This level of financial openness would challenge many modern marriages. But here's the fascinating part. Decision-making follows a practical hierarchy based on expertise, not gender. If the wife has a better understanding of market prices for certain goods, she makes those decisions. If the husband has more experience with equipment purchases, he takes the lead there. Mary, who married into an Amish family, described it this way: "We sit down every week and go through every expense, every income source, every financial decision. Nothing is hidden. It's not about who has the final say. It's about making the best decision together, and that usually means deferring to whoever knows more about that particular area." 4. The privacy boundaries. The myth of no privacy in Amish marriages is one of the most persistent misconceptions. Outsiders imagine every aspect of married life being scrutinized by the community, with no room for personal boundaries. The truth is far more nuanced and, frankly, more sophisticated than most modern relationships. Amish marriages operate on multiple layers of privacy. While certain aspects of life are community concerns, like adherence to religious practices or participation in community events, the intimate dynamics of marriage relationships are fiercely protected. David, a researcher who spent years studying Amish communities, noted, "They have clearer boundaries between public and private life than most modern couples. They know exactly what belongs to the community and what belongs to the marriage. This clarity actually creates more genuine privacy, not less." The community gets involved in marriage conflicts only when specifically asked, and even then, the involvement follows structured protocols that prioritize the couple's autonomy. Compare this to modern marriages where social media, extended family, and friend groups often insert themselves into relationship dynamics without invitation. 5. The health decisions. This is where misconceptions get dangerous. Most people believe Amish families refuse all modern medical care, leaving health decisions to fate or prayer. The reality reveals a sophisticated approach to healthcare that combines traditional wisdom with selective modern intervention. Amish wives often serve as the primary healthcare coordinators for their families. They make decisions about when to use home remedies, when to consult community healers, and when to seek conventional medical treatment. This isn't about rejecting modern medicine, it's about creating a comprehensive healthcare strategy. Emma, who grew up Amish, explained, "My mother was like a family doctor. She knew every remedy, understood nutrition better than most dietitians, and could assess when something required serious medical attention. She made healthcare decisions that probably saved us thousands of dollars and countless unnecessary treatments." The decision-making process involves both spouses, but the wife's expertise in family health often gives her significant authority in these choices. They research treatments, consult with both traditional healers and modern doctors, and make informed decisions based on comprehensive information. 6. The discipline approach. Modern parenting debates often focus on who has the final authority in discipline decisions. Amish marriages approach child rearing from a completely different angle that challenges both traditional and progressive modern approaches. Both parents share equal responsibility for discipline, but their roles are complementary rather than competitive. The father doesn't automatically have final authority, nor does the mother handle all emotional aspects while the father provides physical discipline. Instead, discipline decisions are made based on which parent has the stronger relationship with the child in question, which parent better understands the specific situation, and which parent can most effectively communicate the necessary lesson. Jacob, who was raised Amish and later left the community, reflected, "I never saw my parents argue about discipline. They had this understanding about who should handle what situations. It wasn't about gender roles, it was about effectiveness and relationship dynamics." This approach requires constant communication between spouses and a deep understanding of each child's individual needs. The result is often more consistent and effective discipline than many modern families achieve. 7. The social mobility truth. One of the most surprising aspects of Amish marriage involves geographic and social mobility. Contrary to popular belief, marriage doesn't lock couples into a single community for life. The reality involves complex decisions about where to live, which community to join, and how to balance extended family relationships. Young Amish couples often have significant choices about which community to settle in after marriage. They might choose the husband's community, the wife's community, or even a completely different settlement. These decisions involve careful consideration of economic opportunities, family relationships, and personal preferences. The process reveals a level of individual agency that surprises most outsiders. Couples research different communities, visit potential new homes, and make strategic decisions about their future based on their own goals and values. 8. The communication style. Modern relationship advice emphasizes constant verbal communication, emotional expression, and regular relationship check-ins. Amish couples operate on a different communication model that prioritizes action over words, practical problem solving over emotional processing, and long-term stability over immediate satisfaction. This doesn't mean less communication, it means different communication. Amish couples develop sophisticated nonverbal communication systems, share responsibilities in ways that require constant coordination, and build intimacy through shared work and common goals. The communication style emphasizes respect, practical cooperation, and mutual support rather than emotional intensity or romantic expression. This approach often creates stable, long-lasting partnerships with lower divorce rates than the general population. 9. The tradition, flexibility. Perhaps the most misunderstood aspect of Amish marriage involves the flexibility within traditional structures. Outsiders often assume rigid adherence to unchanging rules, but the reality involves sophisticated decision-making about which traditions to maintain, which to modify, and which to abandon. Amish couples navigate complex decisions about technology use, business practices, child education, and community involvement. They make these decisions together, often bending traditional rules to accommodate practical needs while maintaining core spiritual and community values. The flexibility exists within clear boundaries, but those boundaries are wider than most people realize. Couples have significant freedom to adapt traditional practices to their specific circumstances, needs, and goals. 10. The future planning. The final misconception involves future planning and personal goals. Many people assume Amish couples simply accept their circumstances without planning for the future or pursuing personal aspirations. The truth reveals sophisticated long-term planning that often extends decades into the future. Amish couples plan for land acquisition, business development, children's futures, and community involvement. They set goals, make strategic decisions, and work together to achieve their aspirations. The difference lies not in the absence of ambition, but in the types of goals they pursue. Their planning often focuses on sustainability, community building, and multi-generational success rather than individual achievement or material accumulation. This approach to future planning creates stability and purpose that many modern couples struggle to achieve. Special Section 1. The courtship secrets. Here's where things get really fascinating. While we've been focused on marriage rules, the courtship process reveals secrets that would shock most modern daters. Picture this. No dating apps, no casual hookups, no months of figuring things out. Instead, there's a system so efficient, so purposeful, that it makes our modern dating chaos look almost primitive. The Amish courtship process isn't the rigid, parent-controlled arrangement most people imagine. Young people have more agency in choosing their partners than you'd think, but they operate within a framework that actually increases their chances of long-term success. Here's what really happens. Young Amish singles attend community events, barn raisings, and social gatherings where they can observe potential partners in action. Not just how they look or what they say, but how they work, how they treat others, how they handle responsibility. It's like speed dating, but stretched over months and based on character assessment rather than surface attraction. The courtship period involves structured interaction that reveals compatibility in ways modern dating rarely achieves. Couples work together on community projects, spend time with each other's families, and engage in activities that reveal their true personalities and values. But here's the most surprising part. The rejection rate is remarkably low, not because people settle, but because the system naturally filters out incompatible matches before serious courtship begins. The process eliminates many of the guesswork and emotional roller coaster that characterizes modern relationships. The result? Couples enter marriage with a realistic understanding of their partner's character, work ethic, family dynamics, and life goals. They've seen each other in stress, in community service, in family situations, and in everyday life. This comprehensive evaluation process creates a foundation that many modern marriages lack. Special Section 2. The economic partnership. Now let's talk about something that would make most financial advisors take notes. The economic model of Amish marriages operates on principles that create wealth in ways most modern couples never achieve. We're not talking about get-rich-quick schemes or investment strategies. We're talking about a systematic approach to building generational wealth through partnership. Imagine entering marriage with a clear economic plan that's been tested by generations. Amish couples don't just combine their individual finances, they create an integrated economic unit that's designed for long-term prosperity. Every decision, from where to live to what work to pursue, gets evaluated through the lens of economic sustainability.